we come to a thing called a release. What is that? Does anybody know what a release is? Anybody want to take a stab at defining what a release is? When something starts moving that wasn't, that's really good. Yeah, exactly.
The body going back to homeostasis?
The body going back to homeostasis, that's another a wonderful, wonderful thing. It starts moving, it goes, homeostasis is a normal way of operating in a biological unit, homeostasis. Yeah.
Can the twitching be kind of like giving out that electric potential?
Yes, can a twitching be a giving out electrical potential? I've always told, how about the therapeutic pulse? What do we say? When I used to teach it that way, I used to say, well, the body has tension in it, and if it let go of everything all at once, you turn into this, Don would turn into this big pile of fascia on the floor, and I wouldn't be able to get out of here. But the body, what?
You missed the train.
I missed the train. Matter of fact, I'm just a pile of enroadment right here. Nothing. Right. No, but the body doesn't do that. The body lets go in little units, little measures, little tablespoons, little pulses, and that's what a therapeutic pulse is. A little quantifiable thing of letting go. That's what we used to define as a release. I have a different definition for you based on science. Okay. And you can Google this and have a good time with it. Google this. That's kind of a...
10 years ago we wouldn't have said that.
Yeah. In my day, we used to say, take that. Now I'm going to say, hey, Google this. Anyway, I love that. Thixotropy. Thixotropy.
Is this written in the notes?
It is. It's in your. It's in your study. I tell you the page, but I don't know.
It's one of the numbered ones.
And see, it's after rock and glide, after unfolding. I'll try and do that last if we have time. This goes to, well, there's the first one of the sutures. This one right here is on the sutures. But I'd like to, before I do that, I'd like to take you to the next one that has a big word of time. Time in it.
Number 31.
30, yes. Yes. 31.
Smiley face.
Okay?
Hey, Don, you've got the watch now?
Oh, yeah, Joe.
That's bad.
I know.
We get to watch
I gotta give her the watch.
You only got half an hour.
I know.
Half an hour.
I know. When we talk, remember I alluded to the fact that we're dealing with fascia. The cranial membranes are all fascia. If you don't know, they are. It's all fascia. And the three forms of fascia, there's collagen, which is rigid. There's elastin, which is elastic, stretchy. And then there's this beautiful ground substance. Ground substance is a liquid dimension of fascia. If I was to take an orange apart, I'd take the covering off the orange. That's one layer of fascia. Underneath is that white kind of pith. That's another layer of fascia. Then I take that off and you have the rectangular sections of the orange. Those are all another layers of fascia. If I were to break those open, there's a little globules, little droplets that are fascia. And if I squish those with my thumb, the fluid that comes out, the orange juice, is a layer of fascia. It's a fluid layer called ground substance. It's important because the smallest structures of collagen are called fibrils. F-R-I-B-I-L, fibrils. And they're little three-strand helix structures of fascia that float around in the ground substance. And when the fascia starts to heal, these all start to formulate and start to make up a membrane. And therein lies the rub, because when there's not enough circulation of the waters of the brain, the fibrils get congested and clogged, and you have a restriction. And one of the interesting things about thixotropy, and here's the whole definition. I'll do the end first. And let's see. The diagram that we're on with time has the definition right in the middle with the stars around it. Gentle, sustained manual pressure over time, as in CST techniques, causes the viscosity of a colloid or ground substance to change. Causes viscosity to change, thixotropy, within the gel-like fluid of a colloid of ground substance. Here are the definitions. Thixotropy is the physics principle that pressure over time causes a change in the viscosity of a colloid. Viscosity means stickiness. That's how I describe it. I'm kind of dyslexic, and I thought, well, viscosity is the condition of the fluid or sol or gel. And then I got confused. Is increased viscosity what? And decreased, what is that? So if you put it in terms of stickiness, an increase in viscosity then, therefore, is an increase in stickiness and restriction. A decrease in viscosity is a decrease in stickiness. Or a fluidity. Yes. So that's what viscosity is. Colloids are a gel-like substance that acts as a transport system for something else. This is significant. And there's a lot of colloids in chemical combinations that we use to transmit cough syrup. There's a colloid that transmits the analgesic effect of the 5% solution of the whatever it takes to make your throat so less irritated. But cough syrup is a colloid. Oil in an engine of a car is a colloid. Now I want to stretch you a little bit. A colloid is a fluid that acts as a transport system for something else. Wow, I can think that, so in my mind, ground substance is a colloid. I can see that. What else might be a colloid in the body, now that we know that definition? Blood. What else? Lymph. I love it. What else?
Sweat.
There we go. You get a t-shirt. CSF. CSF. I think these are colloids. I think this definition of release is a definition that applies to craniosacral therapy, lymphatic drainage, myofascial release, a lot of other things. Upledger was onto it, with the spring and dashpot model. He had, what did he have? He had collagen, is rigid, elastin, elastic recoil, and then what was the last thing on his list? Viscous compliance. Viscous compliance. This isn't new. Ida Rolf speaks about this, Rolfing. Tom Myers speaks about this in Anatomy Trains. Jim Oshman speaks about this in Energy Medicine. And so, I think this is important. What happens when there's a change in viscosity? I have here in my notes. The energy threshold is released and there's a discharge. Might be energetic. The toxins break down and are absorbed because the fluid, the stagnation of the water is not stagnant anymore. Collagen fibers realign themselves and they get out of this all piled up place. Tissues soften and spreads. Heat comes off. Aren't these not what we have for release signs? Decrease in viscosity causes an increase in circulation. The joints resume better alignment. Posture changes and normalizes. This puts your patients in a better position to receive the effects of massage, which you can name better than me. Pain decreases. You know what? The attitude and view of life changes because the patient has hope. Sense of well-being and world peace and prosperity for all.
Problem solved.
We just solved the whole world. I want to get my hands on Putin.
Oh, yeah, boy, you didn't fun with
Lay down, Putin. I'll tell you what made in America really means. Right?